Cowboys football with all of you, our best friends, right here on the DLLS Cowboys podcast. Thank you for being with us. Smash the like button on your way in. Make sure you're subscribed to the DLLS Sports channel. And go ahead and take advantage of our free agency frenzy. Sign up to be a diehard, $36 instead of $79.99 for a limited time. That gets you also hooked up with Fran Duffy's draft guide, which is very valuable for you on draft day. So take advantage of the great deal we got going on right now and get yourself signed up to be a diehard right now or else, which is, of course, not a threat. Welcome in, everybody. We got a lot to talk about. One of the guys the Cowboys are most tied to in the draft had his pro day yesterday, went a little viral on the internet. So we got a bunch of mock drafts, and we've got a little bit of news involving non-draft things. So let's get it started. My name is Jeff, the Black Man. I'm next to see, now I almost want to say he's a black man. I'm seated next to a national champion from the North Carolina basketball team and the number one wide receiver on that team, former Cowboys wide receiver Jesse Holly.
Boy, Jay Holly.
I want to give not one, not two, but three birthday shout outs. One, I have to give a shout out to my sister-in-law. Today is her birthday, so happy birthday, Jaida, aka Dip. I have to give a shout out to my good friend.
Call her Dip
because my brother used to call her Honey Dip back in the day, so we just called her Dip. Birthday shout out number two is to my friend Brandy Sheree. Happy birthday, Brandy! And then birthday number three is the daughter of Dip, my niece, Janai. We call her Toot. So happy birthday, Toot. Uncle Jesse loves you from the bottom of his heart. You are the middle child, just like me. So happy birthday. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Happy birthday, Toot.
Okay. Well, I'm going to dedicate my performance on today's show to Bruce Willis, Clayton Kershaw, and Young Gravy, who are all celebrating birthdays today.
Okay.
Next to Jesse is the greatest beat writer in the history of the Cowboys, Mr. White T today. Look at Clarence Hill.
Watching Dallas 20 News.
See, it's just John is just diabolical. Just diabolical. It's Fabletics, White T, baby. It's Fabletics, baby.
Yeah, I got two of them. The Fabletics has jeans also, and the slim fits. Oh, they're fire. Oh, they're so good. Anyway, Cowboy stuff. Thanks for being with us, everybody. We love you guys. First thing I want to talk about is every offseason, what happens with the Cowboys is you'll find a reason, 2 reasons, 3 reasons, maybe not everybody. You know, I think we are a pretty realistic panel. You're going to get real analysis on the show, real opinions. You're not going to get just a massive, everything's perfect homer take. You're not going to get a hater take. You're going to get actual analysis from people. But there's always, for me, usually something, whether it's off-season training camp, where you will find a big reason for optimism that you cling on to. And I know what mine is this year, and it's Christian Parker. Never been to DC before, but I'm in. And what we're going to present to you is this is one of the newest Cowboys, PJ Locke, who we'll see how he fits on this roster. Is he starting next to Malik Hooker and Jalen Thompson's the nickel? Is he a special teamer who might play some defense? Is Malik Hooker's job not safe? I don't know. Newest Cowboy, though, and he's talking about Christian Parker and like you to get some of it.
Hey, PJ, this is Calvin Watkins of the Dallas 20 News.
I remember when CP was leaving to go to the Eagles, he had his aspirations of being in DC. And we talked about, like, man, if I ever become a free agent, the time he comes to DC, we're going to make this thing happen. It's so crazy how he becomes a DC with the Cowboys. And obviously, I'm from Texas, and wife's from Fort Worth, and everything just seemed to click. CP hates gray area. My own experience with that, I hate gray area as well. Like, I need to know what to do in this situation. We get this motion, if we get this formation, if we get this play call, what do you want us to do? What are you looking for? The gray area just kind of creates miscommunication. It creates like you playing slower, not being able to process stuff. He's just really big on detail, teaching you the IQ of the game. He's a technician in that type of way. How he goes about teaching his techniques. That's everything that I love as a player. And, it's the reason why a lot of people gravitate towards him. He demands a lot out of his players. It'll be some days where it's tough. He had to have those tough conversations, which I had a bunch of those, being younger. I can honestly say, man, he shaped me into the player to be today. Like you said, Pat giving his credit, and you see what type of caliber player Pat is today. So that's all you guys need to know. You just check his resume.
So that's PJ Locke talking about Christian Parker. And whether I'm listening to Christian Parker talk, whether I'm listening to people talk about Christian Parker, I'm just telling you guys, he's going to be the dude that I believe in. And I'm not saying the Cowboys are going to have a good or a great defense, but I'm saying I just went through my Eberflus era. I love me some Christian Parker. I believe in Christian Parker, and I can't help it. I can't help it.
Now, here's my question. Not my question, but here's my thing about that is
don't you Clarence me.
I'm not Clarence. I'm saying my part.
Yeah.
Because I'm with you. And I have to ask myself often, is it because I've been jaded from the past defensive coordinator that anything that looks and sound or resembles someone to have some sort of competency at that job, I'm like, I love you. I'm in. Because of what we had in the past, over that last year. But the thing I do love that PJ Locke said, and this is why I felt it was so important for Christian Parker to get his guys. He said about the gray area, that Christian Parker does not want to deal in gray areas. And what this defense requires is a lot from the players. And so the communication has to be there. And I think bringing in the guys that he knows how to eliminate that gray area, how to communicate to them out of that gray area to give them a clear picture of what he wants to do. That was the most vital piece for me, because call me jaded again, the guys who we had here last year in the secondary, some of the guys are still here. I think they struggle a lot with the complexity of defenses and being able to, now the way the NFL is moving with all the motions and different formations and how you now have to combat that with moving differently in the secondary. I thought that unit last year struggled a lot. Part of that was probably the communication from Matt Eberflus. I do believe part of that was the lack of studying and truly putting in the work by the players, which in all brought together just an absolute mess. So I do love to hear that from PJ Locke about Christian Parker eliminating the gray areas for what they do in coverage.
And listen to PJ, it was just fascinating how he talked about Christian Parker. And he talked about the gray areas, and he talked about how Christian Parker studies offensive coordinators, studies their tendencies, and he puts in schemes based on the tendency. He talked about he had Christian Parker got on him one day because, against Seattle, I guess, he didn't, Tyler Lockett does this out route. He didn't, and PJ didn't do it. And he just ripped his butt, and he didn't. That's why he says how it's important to understand why. And he wants them to understand why. And PJ, he talked about the gray area. He has answers for every question on the test. You got to know it. He said there are answers for everything. And that's one thing he talked about that he's going to be teaching. And PJ said he's going to help people. He's going to be a vet. He had vets that helped him. And it's important for him to come and help the young guys and certainly teach Christian Parker's language, lingo, vision, eliminate the gray areas to this Cowboys defense. But, as we said, the Cowboys haven't had a difference maker. They haven't had a difference maker in for as players. But their biggest offseason move, if we want to look at the total offseason, what they do to improve the defense this offseason, Christian Parker.
Yeah, and I'm going to be, this is going to be the thing. I'm just going to be like, hey, guys, we got Christian Parker. It's going to be like, yeah, but what are they going to do at what are they going to do at DC? What are they going to do at all these different things? And we got Christian Parker. We got to play one more piece of audio because the doc is calling and I need to refill prescriptions for this knee. Le'Veon Bell talked about George Pickens, and I don't know if you want advice from Le'Veon Bell, but here's some that he had for George Pickens. I'll be right back.
Advice will you give George Pickens about what direction to take after you had got franchised? And then, for those who don't know, Le'Veon Bell sat out on that tag.
Second. If I'm George, I think I play on the tag in hopes of trying to get a deal worked out. I think they do make a deal eventually.
Yeah, so for me, I think we are all in agreement upon this. Rule number one, don't take advice from Le'Veon Bell. Sometimes the message is killed by the messenger. And Le'Veon Bell just is not a person right now that we look at and we're saying, yeah, you know what? let's take advice from Le'Veon Bell, because and maybe I'm wrong.
You're not.
But taking advice from Le'Veon Bell is just one of those things that I just don't feel comfortable doing for myself or advising someone else doing for themselves, because it's Le'Veon Bell, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, he left money on the table. He sat out a year and cost himself money, cost himself his career, because he wasn't the same player when he came back. I mean, he really fumbled the ball and how he handled his negotiations. Now, I think the Pittsburgh lowballed him. They were wrong because he was that dude in his prime. And so that was, I guess, one of the beginnings and ends to the value of the running back and the quality of the running back, how they did Le'Veon Bell. But for him to sit up here and talk, for him, we're not taking advice from Le'Veon Bell, Shady McCoy, or any of that ilk on how to handle this thing. And we all understand, and we've talked about it. They're not getting the deal done. He's going to have to play on this tag or not play at all. You know, they're going to make him do it again.
Or
oh, my back.
Or
be hurt.
Oh, my knee.
Again, play on the tag, not play at all.
See,
play on the tag and not play
not
at
playing
all.
at all don't get you a credit this season.
Well, I understand that. Yeah.
Injured still gets you that credit this season that you need to get to the next part. And like I heard a great philosopher say one day in the sports bar, I only need one doctor to say so.
No, you do. And I hear you and I understand that. And certainly we know with the agent and the history and how they can make something like that happen. The problem is if you really want to maximize your dollars, putting another great season together guarantees you that you will maximize your dollars. That's all I'm saying.
I do think to the Le'Veon Bell thing, because back then Le'Veon Bell wasn't crazy. At least, we didn't know that Le'Veon Bell was crazy yet back in the day.
He was crazy.
But when he decided, like, screw your tag, I ain't signing it, I ain't playing, like, he does have the reference point of, that's a bad idea. He just cost himself a butt ton of money in the prime of his career, where he thought, well, next year I'll have this huge market, and it wasn't as big as he thought. And it's just like, I don't think George Pickens can afford that sort of misstep either. So I think what serves him the best is something that a David Mulligetta client hasn't done yet. What serves him the best is you can play the games up till July 15th when you can no longer work out a long-term deal. You can miss things, you can do all that, you can try to put pressure on them. But if no deal gets done past July 15th, I think what serves George Pickens the best is to show up and ball out. And I know that's not what they want to do because they want to prove a point or pressure the team as best they can. But once you lose the opportunity to get a long-term deal, and that date is July 15th, once that passes, what best serves him is to be at camp, go put up 1,500 yards, and now you're worth everything. Whereas if you play it any other way, I don't think it works out real well for you.
And I think that the thing that we have to understand is that what are you looking for? Because I believe if he wanted to take a Alec Pierce type deal, the Cowboys might do that. Okay. He wants, again, I've said it, he is looking for CeeDee Lamb, Jamar Chase type money. Okay. And that's what's lost in this thing. You know, what they do, when I brought up, would they do a 3-year, $90 million deal? Possibly. But is he maximizing his dollars? Right. And so that's the thing that what David is looking for, and he's looking for, like, I'm trying to maximize my earnings, not just take a deal.
We got us a couple of super chats. NC Upton, having a rookie DC and Parker, do you think the front office waits for the trade deadline to see what they have with him before they all out invest? I mean that I don't think that has much to do with what's happening right now. Right now, you're trying to do the best you can in an off season. But I think that, the regular season, as long as they're winning some games and the defense looks somewhat competent, you could be tempted at the deadline to give him some more. And then Jason's in the super chat, hindsight question on not signing Hendrickson. Would he have fit what CP is trying to do as far as versatility, assuming he would be stand-up edge and not the defensive end? Can he drop in coverage? I think that goes to the point that I think it was CP that said it when he was on the Fan, where it was, like Trey Hendrickson would be a stand-up rusher, and the better you are at it, the less you're going to drop. Yeah. So, yes, he would line up out there, and he would drop every once in a while as a trick 'em play. He would be rushing the passer. Coming up next on the DLLS Cowboys podcast, I've already seen it in our chat so far. One of the guys most tied to the Cowboys in the draft had a pro day yesterday that went viral. What do we make of it? It is next. Let's take a moment to talk about our friends over there at Wild Fork Foods Meat and Seafood Market, my favorite store on planet Earth. Oh, I love it. You hear in the news beef prices are skyrocketing, been a top story all the time. But go by my friends at Wild Fork Foods. Let them take care of you, okay? Your experience at their store is going to be absolutely incredible. It's not just that they have a great selection, but the people there, the friendly butchers, they're so knowledgeable. Whatever you're looking at, one of their 700 items that they have at Wild Fork Foods, you have a question about preparing it, what you should put on it, how you should marinate this thing, do you want to smoke it, grill it, etc. They've got you squared away. They're all so knowledgeable, so friendly. You can buy your whole meals there. It's not just the meat. They have incredible side dishes as well. They blast freeze everything, which maintains the freshness. Frozen is fresher at Wild Fork Foods. Meat and Seafood Market, the organic grass-fed ground beef, 85% lean, is $6 a pound, about the best I've seen out there. Try them out at one of their 9 area DFW locations. Learn more at wildforkfoods.com. I also want to talk about Shady Rays, my favorite sunglasses on the planet. It's who you got to hit up, because you know the moment where you realize, oh my goodness, I left the sunnies on top of the car. Well, I was at the lake and I jumped in the water and whoops, there they went. I've been there. I've been there multiple times. Then I found my friends at Shady Rays changes the game, because their sunglasses are made for real life. They're good looking, they're polarized, they're durable, and they're not stupidly expensive. And our favorite part, of course, if you lose or break them, even on day one, Shady Rays is going to send you a brand new pair. No guilt trip, just replacements. And now you can actually wear your sunglasses without fear. You're on a hike, you're at a concert, you're on the boat, wherever it is. Shady Rays is eyewear that has your back. Check them out. Go putter around on shadyrays.com. Find the ones you love. Use the code SRDLLS, and you're going to get 40% off 2+ pairs of polarized sunglasses. All right, the guy most tied, I think, maybe there's some other guys in the mix, but the guy most tied to the Cowboys, when you look at mock drafts and you see what just happened at his pro day, the guy most tied to the Dallas Cowboys in terms of the draft, I think might be CJ Allen, the linebacker, the middle linebacker at the University of Georgia. He had his pro day yesterday, and so he went out there, no shirt. And I think if I had his muscles, I'd probably go top off myself. I'd probably go convertible, wouldn't put the top up. And so he had his pro day. And I just want to start with you guys. You know, I draft nerded up, and I saw it, and I know what I think. But I want to get just immediate reactions, because it seemed like there was a lot of reaction on the internet to CJ Allen's pro day.
I fall, and I would be a hypocrite if I all of a sudden now took a 30-second clip and say that I don't believe what I see on tape. I talk about this not from the college level, but when we break down film all year long in the NFL. We always talk about, your podcast, your little bitty podcast is called Trust the Tape. I do KBBU. What am I doing? I'm putting on the tape, trusting what my eyes see on the tape. The old saying is that eye in the sky doesn't lie. And like anything else, what more data do I have? Do I have the data of tape that says this person is good or is not good at football or anything that they do? Or am I going to take a 30-second clip from a pro day? I'm not going to be a hypocrite. What the 30-second clip shown didn't show me what I've seen, and I watched CJ Allen in person. I saw him in person.
He could beat you up.
That clip and what I saw on film and in person aren't the same. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to trust what my eyes say on film and go, that what we saw in that 30-second clip isn't what I saw in person and in multiple games that I watched on TV and some of the things that I watched on film about CJ Allen. So I won't be a hypocrite, and I'll say the clip to me is one of those things that went viral, but it doesn't change the fact that I still think CJ Allen is a good football player, and I'm going to want him on my football team.
It's interesting that you said all that to say that he looks stiff.
Better be interesting.
You said all that to say he looks stiff in that 30-second clip, and I'm with you because that's what we live. That's the world we live in. Social media, 30-second clips, and we get wild or we get disappointed. That's why I think I sent a message in Slack or one of our text messages. I said, look, I didn't tweet it. I didn't go out there and say, I know what this guy is. I did not comment. I did not tweet, but I asked you guys.
Because you're not messy.
I was not trying to be messy, and I was not trying to be overly judgmental by a 30-second clip. But from what I've been sold and what I've been told, because I'm not, again, as I told you before the show, I'm not watching all these guys on tape. I'm not going through the tape. That's what you do. What Fran does, certainly Jesse does it. You know, he looked stiff. He didn't look like it. He was. Somebody in the chat said it looked like he went to the weight room and worked out before, you know, he hit the weights before he did their pro day. But he didn't look like a smooth athlete that's good in the passing game as well as going forward and stopping the run. But again, a 30-second clip, I'm going to defer to the experts. I'm going to defer to people that watched him all year, watched him game in and game out to see what you look at as a football player. But the 30-second clip was not impressive.
Now I'm going to ask Jesse this because as a man who, when I'm on a good workout schedule, I look okay for 41. I look not bad. But to the chat's point and Clarence's point, Jesse, if you're going to go to the pool, tell me you don't bust 20 push-ups right before.
Let me tell you something. I do work some days, and depending on what shirt I have on, I'll give you a quick 50 to 75 before I leave the house, just so I make sure the juices is flowing in the biceps. So absolutely, and that's for sure what you do when you're gonna have your shirt off. You might go in there and get underneath that bench, and it might just be 185. All I want to do is just I want to get a lot of reps in, get the blood flowing in the right areas, and have everything looking real good. So yeah, sure.
I plank for about 60 seconds, see if you can't get an ab popping, you know, do all of that. So I saw all the clips, and it's fun when it's pro day season because I saw from some analysts where it's like scouts pretty unanimously say that CJ Allen had a great workout. CJ Allen looked great in positional drills. And the one everybody saw is the one where he's like backing up, peels out, runs towards the deep corner, and makes an awkward catch of the football. So to me, it mostly falls in the category of Jeff Rule number 713-B of scouting, which is don't count it twice. CJ Allen's scouting report does not say CJ Allen is a great change of direction athlete. CJ Allen is going to thrive in coverage. It doesn't say that. CJ Allen is a run your defense, good in the run game, assignment sound, physical finisher. That's what he is. His scouting report was never about his super fluid change of direction sort of athlete. So it doesn't change much for me. But what does raise a little red flag? You guys remember ponchos? I don't remember what color the flag was, but you raised the flag.
Yeah.
What raises my little ponchos flag for CJ Allen a little bit is he didn't run a 40. He just did workouts. So he didn't run at the combine, and he didn't run at his pro day. And they said he didn't run at his pro day because he had some swelling in his knee. And I think that's a no-win situation for him in that when you don't run at the combine, you put pressure on yourself to run at the pro day. And if something were to happen, let's say he actually had swelling in his knee and he can't run. Well, now everybody who never thought you were a fast linebacker, or maybe I won't say everybody, I'll say me. I now assume
you slow.
What you were going to clock was a 4.74. That's what I assume. You're not running because you know the time's not going to be good. So what is the not good time I'm supposed to assume? And if you didn't run because you legit had swelling in your knee, well, the operation that you had in November during the season was something minor for a meniscus. You played 11 days later. If now, 4 months removed from that, you've got swelling before your pro day, what do we got going on medically? So I think all of it adds up to where the pro day is not going to help CJ Allen. Will it hurt him too much? Not if you like him. But yeah, for the guy that the Cowboys have been probably most mocked as their pick at number 20. I don't think that helped him. And I think it probably hurt him in some people's eyes. I don't want him to be the pick at 20. I think CJ Allen is going to have a long career as somebody's middle linebacker, and he's going to be okay. And he's not going to hurt you. That's not what I'm hunting at number 20. And so I still reside in the camp that I hope to hear the Cowboys have signed a veteran linebacker, traded for a veteran linebacker, so that they're not forced to use that pick on the guy that most fits their scouting report of, we need smart, instinctual, green dot middle linebacker, and we have to use a first-round pick on it. So I'm just waiting to hear that they traded for or signed a linebacker.
Could that pro day, depending on who was there and what they saw, could that pro day now prompt the Cowboys to kind of move a little bit forward? Because, you know, sometimes when there's smoke, there's fire. If everyone is like all the scouting experts and they talk to people and they talk to front office personnel, the scouts, and they're all kind of pushing CJ Allen towards the Cowboys, I'm not saying that it's Bible, but sometimes, you know, it's when you talk to these people and they you can look into someone's eyes when they talk about a player, you can be like, oh yeah, he really likes that player. They really like that player. Does that level of performance to what they've seen at the pro day? Because like you said, some said he had a really good pro day. The clip may have said that otherwise. If the knee is swelling from, you know, a past injury, does that now push the Cowboys to maybe possibly go, you know what? Maybe it's not the guy that we want. Let's go and sign, you know, one of these veteran linebackers. Let's go trade for one of these veteran linebackers so that we're really not forced to have to pick a guy at 20 for that position.
Yeah, I'm really, you know, wary about him, and that red flag is not running at all. If you don't run at the combine, you don't run at the pro day, that tells me you're slow. And watching that 30-second clip, he looks slow. Let's be honest about that.
And that's true, because all the fast guys that I've known in my life, they were never afraid to run. Like,
exactly.
Like when you have something, like when you have something that's exceptional, or you know that something is what it is like that, as the young people say, you ain't never afraid to showcase it. Like you know what I'm saying? So to not run at the pro day definitely shows that you're trying to hide something or not being scrutinized or criticized about something, because all dudes that can run, I ain't never met a dude who can run that ain't want to be like, line up and let's run.
You're right, Jesse.
Yes.
All the people I know who can fly are always ready to line up.
Yes.
Chill, come get some. Yeah, so there's a lot of chat about CJ Allen in our chat, including Austin said Jack Campbell was the 18th pick, and I think Allen is better or comparable to Campbell's value. And like, those are very different players, right? Jack Campbell checks every measurable box on the planet. If I pulled up his relative athletic score, like, Jack Campbell is a stud athlete, big, strong, monster athlete. You may be more confident in CJ Allen from the intangibles part of it. And apparently the Cowboys had a large contingent and spent a lot of time with CJ Allen at that pro day. That doesn't guarantee that they come away from that pro day and go, we love him. But the things you hear about him in terms of what coaches say about him, in terms of the work ethic, in terms of the leadership, in terms of all those things, are A+. So they probably didn't come out of there feeling too bad. And in the chat, a lot of people are talking about Jacob Rodriguez at number 20 as well, the Texas Tech linebacker. And I do think those two are very different players. But I will tell you, it is official on the Jeffrey board. Jacob Rodriguez is ahead of CJ Allen for me.
Wow.
He's ahead of CJ Allen for me. And so is Anthony Hill.
Wow. When did you move him up? When did you move this? When did you move this? When did you make this move?
Last night. So last night, because I knew I was going to do a stream this morning. And so last night, what I did was, a lot of times I just keep working my way through all the players. But when I have guys that are fairly close, like they're all second-round grades, I knew I was going to talk about linebackers today. So I just put them all on back to back to back and just a little refresher. And I think I'd shortchanged Anthony Hill in some ways.
Thank you.
And I think Jacob Rodriguez, his tape is so good. His tape is so, like, CJ Allen brings more to the table if what you're talking about is the most consistent run fit and stopping power. He's got that over Jacob Rodriguez. But if you are talking about everything else, I mean, Jacob Rodriguez does everything now so fast. And those are things that hurt him sometimes, especially in coverage, is he does things right now. But I mean, his quickness, his ability to get around or off of blocks, Jacob Rodriguez brings a lot. And so for me, my linebacker order is now Sonny Styles, Anthony Hill, Jacob Rodriguez, CJ Allen. It's that order. And I think all of them are fairly close. So I expect all of them, or I think they're all deserving of being picked somewhere 20 to 40. But CJ Allen is not my favorite at number 20. Coming up next on the DLLS Cowboys podcast, we do have another position that the Cowboys need to fill. We're looking for a pass rusher, and we've been giving you top fives for each position group. Today is the edge players in the NFL draft. We'll talk about what the Cowboys are going to do there and the top five in the draft next. Hey, you there. Why don't you hop up in here and join the Supporters Club, established the year of our Lord 2025. It is for the real ones. If you're here on YouTube with us every day and you're watching the show and you would like to stand out in our audience, be a part of things, that's what the Supporters Club is about. You'll have the badge next to your name that lets people know you're part of the Supporters Club. You'll have access to our exclusive emojis and more. You'll get some behind the scenes, some exclusive content that everybody doesn't get. So if you'd like to stand out, you want to be a part of things, you want to be a part of what we're doing here at DLLS, I encourage you to go ahead and join our Supporters Club.
If you love the NFL Draft, then this is your edge. The Die Hard NFL Draft Guide is built and based off of thousands of hours of film study, being boots on the ground, Shrine Bowl, Senior Bowl, Combine, talking to scouts, talking to coaches, really getting a feel for where these players are best going to fit and project in the NFL. We're talking hundreds of players in this class.
Cowboy fans, you got to have access to Fran Duffy's Die Hard Draft Guide because he knows exactly what the Cowboys are looking for and has in-depth scouting reports on everybody that can help this team. So help yourself and be informed about the NFL Draft. Make sure you got Fran's Draft Guide.
All right, so what are you going to find in the guide? Well, you're going to find player comps. You're going to find strengths, weaknesses, physical tools, analytics, highlights, analysis from all across the space, everything you need to try and determine who are the best players for your team. You get access to the guide if you're a diehard, and you'll also get access to a couple of individual breakdowns I'm doing specifically for your team. All right, look, if you want surface level breakdowns, you can get them anywhere, but if you want independent thought, if you want thorough breakdowns on all of these prospects, become a diehard, get the guide. Or you can get access to the 2026 guide for just $26. Let's win draft season.
Welcome back. It is the DLLS Cowboys podcast, and you are with Jeff and Jesse and Clarence. If you could hit the like button on your way in or while you're here, we sure would appreciate it. Make sure you're subscribed to the DLLS Sports channel. And tomorrow, when our show is over, if you're a diehard, if you're signed up for that, hang out with us as I'll stick around a little bit, and Fran Duffy's going to do a draft Q&A for our diehards, so you can have our all-city draft expert and analyst answering your Cowboy questions about the NFL draft. You'll have access to that if you are a diehard. Pass rush for the Cowboys. Right now, if you went into the season, I would imagine your starting outside linebackers, your pass rushers, is Donovan Ezeraku and Rashawn Gary. Behind that, you're looking at Sam Williams, Maris Leafau. I may be missing. I'm missing a name, aren't I? I think I'm missing a name. But regardless,
James Houston.
James Houston. And so, like, James Houston had some success last year. Rashawn Gary is a nice player. Leafau, I think that's just his position until
and Tyrus Wheat they just brought back from Denver.
And Tyrus Wheat. So honestly, if you want to do the Jerry quote from last year, technically, we got the numbers. We got 6 guys that can line up at that spot. But what they're missing, according to one idiot, that's me, you're missing the juice, man. You're missing the dude who can just get off the ball, fire around the corner, and get to the quarterback. Houston's got a little bit of it. Gary's not a bad pass rusher. Ezeraku hopefully comes along. But if I could add one dude with some real juice to that group and get the positive results that you're hoping for from each of the guys I already named, now you're cooking with something.
Cooking with grease or gas? You cooking with gas or grease?
I cook with bacon grease.
Oh my
Grease.
Just-
I cook with
Yeah.
grease.
So what I do is I make my bacon first, 3 slices. And when that's done, you pour the eggs in and you cook it in the bacon grease. And now you got some eggs. Oh, I need to get some eggs. I had chicken for breakfast. I hadn't exactly gotten ready for this surgery. I'm not exactly and somebody asked who got sick. We're at home because of Jeff's knee. I got my knee replaced 8 days ago now. And we tried in studio and that was not comfortable. That was hard for me. So we'll get back to it Monday. If you guys could bear with us, I apologize, but I had to get a functional leg so I can beat Clarence in a foot race. He's the final boss. I've worked my way up the ladder to get to Chill. Do you guys think that we have a trade or another free agency signing coming at Edge, or do you think this will be a draft thing?
At Edge,
yeah.
I would like it. I would like it. Do I think it's coming? No. I don't think. I don't think so. I think they when they went and signed Rashawn Gary, it kind of almost got fat. They kind of was like, you know what? Work here is done. We're full. We got a guy. We'll draft some other guys and we'll go to work. They, like you, I think, believe a ton in Christian Parker and what he will be able to produce. I think they believe a ton in BT Jordan, who will be able to take those guys and hone up their skills and
then we'll scheme pressure like last year. We're going to scheme pressure. You can do that.
Scheme pressure it up like they did last year. So from as far as an edge perspective, I don't think we're going to see anything. I think more of linebacker may be where they kind of still work a little bit in free agency and whoever's else left out there.
Chill.
I think I just had that take yesterday. We asked this, is it more likely to get a
Oh, damn. He stole from you.
I just had that take yesterday, but hey, I'm not going to be petty. Okay. I'm not going to bring that back up. I'm not.
You just brought it back up.
What I would like to add is that, do you think they still got Clowney in their back pocket? As we look down the road and they don't get any guys, we see what happens in the draft. You could always sign Clowney off the couch.
I wouldn't mind that, but I do think that adding Clowney, it's still just a group of guys, you know?
Well, it is, but is there another guy out there though? I mean, let's be honest about what we're talking about. What's the options you have to improve the pass rush at this point? It's just a bunch of guys.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know, and he still had 8.5 sacks last year on his god awful defense. You know, and he still had more than Rashawn Gary had last year. Rashawn Gary was playing opposite Michael Parsons. You know, I think they still got him. I mean, we know there's talk about him not fitting the scheme or him not really performing his best in the scheme when he was in Carolina. But when we look at the options, he's still better than nothing. He's still better than some of the guys got on this team. He still is better, has produced more than Tyrus Wheat and some other guys you got that's going to be in your rotation. So I think that's an option. But yes, I'm with Jesse. I said it yesterday. I think it's if they make a move before the draft, it's more likely a linebacker than edge rusher. And if we're going to improve the edge rushing position, it's going to be in the draft. And it's something that we've all talked about. The problem with the Cowboys is that they sold us a bill of goods. They sold us we're looking for a difference-making edge rusher. They tried to go get Max Crosby. So it tells me you're looking for a dude. But when we go back and look at the numbers, this defense doesn't always produce a dude. It produces a number of guys who get to the quarterback. But if you go back and look at the Vic Fangio scheme, you look at what the scheme that Christian Parker's running, the other guys running, they don't really have a lot of high sack guys in this scheme. There's one or two, obviously one or two offs, but by and large, it's more several guys with 7-8 sacks. Maybe the sack literally got 10 or 12 sacks, but it's not like this defense produces Micah Parsons or even Max Crosby like sack numbers.
That is our local air traffic controller, Clarence Hill, according to the chat, dropping knowledge on everybody. All right, so now I'll hit you with my top 5. We're doing top 5 for all the different positions, and these are my top 5 edge defenders. It's a picture of that's a picture of Ruben Bain on the picture there. The T-Rex is a ferocious creature. The arms aren't very long though. Ruben Bain of Miami is number 1 for me. David Bailey, Texas Tech is number 2. And, they're different players. Ruben Bain is just very much a monster in all sorts of ways, whether you're rushing the passer, whether you're playing the run. Stout, strong, high energy, tone set, just nasty. He just has the T-Rex arms. And then David Bailey is the freak athlete that also has the measurables that you're looking for a pass rusher in terms of height and length, and then the way he gets off the football and just the explosive athletic ability. And we'll probably mention him again in the next segment because something fun might be happening for your Dallas Cowboys. At number 3 is the old man, Akeem Messidor, 25 years old, the other pass rusher at Miami. If you want to make the case of how good Ruben Bain is and tell people to shut up about arm length, I encourage you to go watch any college football playoff game or really any other Miami game and watch, because you're going to like Akeem Messidor. Akeem Messidor is like, he's got the right size. He plays with a brand of nasty and high motor, and he can bring value to you against the run and against the pass. He can run straight down an offensive lineman's chest. He's got different pass rush moves. Like, he's a really good player. He's 25. Otherwise, you'd be talking about him as a top 5 pick if he was a 20-year-old or a 21-year-old. But if you go watch the way people blocked Miami, you'll know how good Ruben Bain is. Akeem Messidor is a baller, and teams basically dared him to beat the right tackle. We're going to block that guy with 2 or 3. We're going to block Ruben Bain with that many people. And so if you're looking for reasons to believe in Ruben Bain despite the short arms, you go ahead and turn on some Miami tape and see the way that the best teams in the country thought they needed to block those guys. They were terrified of Ruben Bain. Number 4 is Keldrick Falk, who's been talked about a lot. I think he's a name you need to know for the Cowboys because from a build perspective, from the height, weight, length, strength, from all of those, the Cowboys are kind of missing the guy who's going to be their third down lineman. And Keldrick Falk fits that role really well. If you're looking for a guy who can reset the line of scrimmage, who can control blockers, but also has athletic upside to develop into a pass rusher. And that's the part I'm always wary of. When people tell you that this guy, well, he's not a great pass rusher now, but look at X, Y, and Z, and you can see it's coming. It doesn't happen often. Most of the time, if you're not a good pass rusher in college, it ain't showing up when you start playing against the best guys in the world.
And when we look at Keldrick Falk, I always look at, because he's not the fast twitch guy. I don't know why he's grouped with edge rushers. Because to me, Ed, you're right. He's that down lineman guy. He's the Marcus Spears, that 4-eye guy in this 3-4 scheme. He's a classic 3-4 in more so than a stand-up edge guy. That's the build. That's what he looked like to me. I'm not no.
I think the reason is for edge. What you're doing is you're throwing the 4-3 ends and the 3-4 outside linebackers in together.
Right.
Yeah. On a 3-4 team, he would go hand down. On a 4-3 team, he would be a defensive end. And so, I'm comfortable just calling him an edge because the way we call it now is basically edge and interior D line. And
right.
On a 3-4, yeah, he would be the down guy who plays the furthest outside, but he's an end, if you want to bring back words that we tried to get rid of in defensive end. Austin wanted to know about Messidor's foot. I saw from our friend, you can see on the post-game shows, Vach Lombardi. He said that he heard some talk, some whispers, some birdies, that those medicals might be good. They might be good. And so, if they are, that's good for him.
Is 25, because here's what I'm struggling with when it comes to Messidor. Because he's a really good player. Yeah. And you want to have him on your football team. And if 25 is what is the issue with 25? Because let's just say I have him for the first contract. Is the fall off coming at 25, 26, 27, 28 for that position?
I don't think it's about the fall off. I think it's about the other side of that coin.
Right.
Messidor is what he's going to be, right? There's no growth coming. In theory, you could improve technique and all that. But I think the guys who dominated 21-year-olds at the age of 19, well, that's a talented SOB.
Uh-huh.
The guy who wasn't dominating college football when he was 22, but when he got to be 24, 25, and now he starts whooping up on these 19 and 20-year-olds, I think it's just viewed as, okay, the finished product beat up on the prospect. And so for him, I think it's more like you're getting what you're getting. And when you get the true juniors who were kicking ass in college football from when they were 18 years old, you're thinking, oh, and there's so much more to come. And with him, you're saying, this is it. Like, I don't care that you're like, oh no, if his long career is only going to be 11 years instead of 15, okay, I don't care.
Because I don't care. If we're talking about winning now, does he come in and he help you win now?
I think so. And I think more so than some of the guys that you think might have a higher ceiling. So, like, I think.
Well, okay, from an age standpoint, do you think he's going to come in and be a better pass rusher than Donovan Ezeraku? Because he may be a finished product that's 25. So is the 25-year-old come out of college a better prospect to win now than a 25-year-old has been in the league 3 years? That's where the age comes into effect. Is he done?
Yeah. And I had him ranked probably similarly as prospects coming out, but I thought Ezeraku had more pass rush in his bag and that it would work out for him faster. So if I was trying to guess as rookies, I would have actually said Ezeraku. Now that you've done a year of Ezeraku, I might say Messidor.
Well, I'm talking about next year. Ezeraku will be 1 year into the league.
Right.
Well, he has a chance to be better, with that 1 year experience than Messidor, who may be a finished product at 25, because there's still going to be some growth. I mean, yes, you dominate in college, but the pros ain't college. There's real grown men here.
Well, and Ezeraku doesn't get an off season. So I think it's a good question. I think Ezeraku versus Messidor, year 2 versus year 1.
Because Ezeraku is 22 right now.
Yeah.
He's just 22.
Yeah. And my 5th guy, by the way, was Malachi Lawrence, who no one else has rated that high as a top 5 edge guy. He's from the University of Central Florida, but he's an incredible athlete who does have the complete package that you're looking for in terms of power, pass rush moves, production. He's got all of that. He just did it against worse competition. And so you're having to trust that would translate against better players. And I do have him above some other guys that people think are going to be first-round picks. Coming up next on the DLLS Cowboys podcast, we got a little bit of a mock draft roundup. We'll hit any super chats we get from you guys, some of your questions. But there were some really fun and surprising things in the mock drafts of the last 2 days, and we'll hit them next. All right, everybody, I want to encourage you right now. What a great time to be a diehard here at DLLS. It's a great time, because we are in draft season. There's so much going on and so much leading up, and there's so much hype and hope that is involved in the NFL draft for your Cowboys and for every other team. And so even if you happen to be somebody who watches DLLS and you're not a Cowboy fan, the Die Hard Draft Guide still works for you. Our expert, the All-City draft expert, Fran Duffy, he does this every year, and he does it for you. He's up over 300 players now with in-depth scouting reports, and he gets these because he's at the Shrine Bowl. He's at the Senior Bowl. Those are the All-Star games, the college All-Star games leading up to the NFL draft, leading up to the Combine. He's at the NFL Combine in Indianapolis. He's talking to scouts and executives. He's watching the tape. And so his rankings, his scouting reports, it's awesome information for the NFL draft fan. So if that applies to you, now is the time to be signed up to be a diehard, especially considering that our limited time intro offer, instead of $79.99 for your first year, is $36 right now. It's time to get the hookup to be a diehard. It still comes with all of the perks that being a diehard gives you. You get to pick a free t-shirt from our merch store immediately when you sign up to be a diehard. There's one that you got your eye on, bang, get that one for nothing. And you're only paying $36 for your first year. So you get the free t-shirt. Then if you like some of that other merch, and we got some really cool stuff, you get discounts on merch when you're signed up to be a diehard. You get discounts on events that we have. You get that. By the way, for diehards, on Friday, Fran is going to do a draft Q&A after our show. I'll pop on there with him and we'll talk NFL draft. So you get all sorts of hookups when you're a diehard. You also get invited to our Discord, where everybody that you love at DLLS is hanging out with you guys. You can make new friends, fellow DFW sports fans. So go ahead and get signed up to be a diehard today, or else not a threat. All right, it is the DLLS Cowboys podcast. And we got a mock draft roundup, because there are some fun ones out there. I have a lot of respect for Daniel Jeremiah and what he does for the NFL Network. And so I will start with him, and then we'll cuss him out, if you guys don't mind. We'll just give him the absolute business. John's got the graphic on the screen with some of the picks. I'll give you all of them. Fernando Mendoza, number 1 to the Raiders. You know, it would be really fun in this draft if the Raiders, if it turned out they don't think that he's like the guy, and they're like, you know what, screw quarterback for a year, and they trade out of there, and then nobody wants Mendoza number 1, and then the whole draft's a train wreck. Oh, that'd be fun. But he goes number 1. Number 2 is Arvell Reese, the Ohio State linebacker / edge player. Number 3, Francis Maui Noah to the Cardinals, the Miami right tackle. Jeremiah Love goes 4. Sonny Styles goes 5. Carnell Tate goes 6. Ruben Bain goes 7. David Bailey goes 8. Keep in mind that, because David Bailey's been a lot of number 2 or 3 pass rusher, Texas Tech. 8 for Daniel Jeremiah. Spencer Fano, whose arms got longer after he left the combine. They were longer at the pro day. Number 9. Caleb Downs at 10. Mansour Delane at 11. What Jeff calls the worst nightmare for the Cowboys is that draft. No Delane, no Bain, no Downs, no Styles. And he has the Cowboys take Jermod McCoy. And the only person I've seen go on the record, I saw it this morning because I was confused what everybody was talking about, because I don't think McCoy is going to qualify as like a red shirt when Jerry says no red shirts. I don't think a guy 18, 19 months off an ACL surgery is not going to be ready for training camp. That sounds crazy to me. But Nick Harris did say it's a name he's taking off his list, so I don't know what that's based on. And I don't think you can have a Jermod McCoy opinion until a week and a half from now. His pro day is going to be on the 31st. If he doesn't work out and run, no interest at 12. And the Cowboys won't either. Nobody would be interested in a top 12 pick who hasn't shown you he's the same guy he was the last time you saw him play. I don't think anybody would take him that high. Anybody. If he does work out and he looks like himself, then that pick's probably okay. I just think it's hard to have a Jermod McCoy opinion until we see, is he going to show us that he's back? I just don't know. So he's going 12 in the Daniel Jeremiah one. And at number 20, the Cowboys take TJ Parker, the Clemson, one of the other guys that everybody hates this year because he didn't live up to the hype coming into this season. But he would be a fit as a stand-up outside guy that sets the edge, has some athletic ability, can push the pocket. And he would be one of the guys that you're saying, I can develop him as a pass rusher. Young guy, I can develop him. So that's Daniel Jeremiah. What you shake your head about, Chill?
Everything this whole draft, and just starting with the top, I was thinking about, because I remember when the Cardinals picked back-to-back quarterbacks, in the first round at the top of the draft. And listen, Mendoza, great year. Nobody thinks he's going to be, I don't think anybody, he's the best quarterback in this class. I don't think anybody is pegging him as a franchise quarterback, right? We can say that. But he's the best in his class, and the Ravens are desperate for a quarterback. What's wrong with them saying it could be better quarterbacks next year and throwing this draft into a tizzy?
Nothing, except you don't know that you'll get a shot at the top guys next year. Right?
No, I agree. Which is why, again, what the Cardinals did when they went quarterback one year and then came back and changed coaches and went quarterback the next year. But I mean, I think it's not unprecedented, but it's just interesting, this draft, and we talk about guys and it's more about, you talk about TJ Parker. He's not a great athlete, but we're picking 20. We're picking him in the first round, and there's so much negative about, not negative, but we're trying to justify guys and why they pick them, these safe pick. And I'm looking for, I guess the thing about the first round is you're looking for special guys. You're not looking for just the best pick at that, best guy at that pick. First rounder should mean something. At least I thought.
And that's why we talked about, even at the combine, this was one of the worst years for the Cowboys to have 2 first-round picks.
I want 4 second-round picks. Can we make that
because
happen?
The talent isn't what you're looking for. There is no superior over-the-top talent. It's not a draft that is loaded with top-end talent where, after you get maybe past 4 or 5 picks in the first round, everything else is like, okay. But there's no standouts that we're looking and saying, this guy is going to be a generational talent. This guy is a surefire future Hall of Famer. There's no one in that draft. And it happens that way sometime. Now we'll get to a point next year we start talking about the draft, and I'm sure Jeff will be like, no, now this is a draft you want to have some first round picks in.
Jeremiah Smith.
This is a draft where you want to have, maybe a few holes that you're looking to truly solidify because you have the players in that draft. This just so happened to be one of those drafts, and maybe you call it just that. That's just the Cowboys' luck, right? It's like, damn, you got 2 first-round picks, and in a place where you want to be able to secure some top-end talent, this ain't the draft for it.
No, I think it's all the fallout of trading Micah and then kind of being in scramble mode after that to try to justify. And like, I don't think Jerry was able to have a long-term play this offseason because I have to do something now because of what I just did to be able to compete now. I think in a perfect world, you would have the 1 and 2 that you traded for Quinn, and the 1 would have come from this year. And then next year you'd have 2 of them. And then this is dumb and it doesn't matter. And the Cowboys will not end up with this guy. Next offseason, you got 2 1s. And if you're still doing the battle stuff with Pickens, I give you 2 1s and George Pickens. And that's how I'm getting Jeremiah Smith. I mean, I swear to God, we're finally going to get back to the premier position, premier talent, where it's going to be, people are going to be tanking for a non-quarterback is what's going to happen next year because Jeremiah Smith is unreal. Another mock draft that we had, the Joel Klatt at Fox Sports, and I'll just rip through and get to the Cowboy picks quickly. But number 1's Mendoza, 2 Arvell Reese, 3 David Bailey, 4 Jeremiah Love. Jeremiah Love's pretty much going 4 all the time now. Carnell Tate 5, Monroe Freeling, the Georgia offensive tackle, has started going to the Browns a lot at 6. Sonny Styles at 7, Mekhi Lemon at 8, Mansour Delane 9, Ruben Bain 10, Francis Maui Noah 11, which means Caleb Downs made it to 12 in this one, and he's a Dallas Cowboy. And then Jermod McCoy at 20. And so I like this better than the Daniel Jeremiah one because I love the scenarios where Caleb Downs falls because I think that changes things for your defense. Because what Jesse was saying about the generational premier prospect, whatever you want to call it, I think there might be 3 of them in this draft, and they all play non-premium positions. It's Downs, it's Styles, it's Love. And that what's that? Would you like
McCoy at 20 over Messidor?
If he's healthy, yeah. I mean, it's again, ask me in a week and a half. If he's healthy, yes, I would take Jermod McCoy over Akeem Messidor if he's healthy. Now, there's a wild card one that I don't know if John has this one, but I found a third mock draft this morning, and I'm only presenting it because it had something happen that I have not seen happen from anybody. And Bleacher Report actually has guys now. I at least know, I think Brandon Thorne does their offensive line evaluation. Like, they're not a totally goofy site anymore. And so I ran through their mock draft, and I hadn't seen this before. And this, I think, would be amazing for Cowboy fans. Fernando Mendoza goes 1. Arvell Reese goes 2. David Bailey doesn't go 3 this time. Sonny Styles does. Jeremiah Love goes 4. Carnell Tate goes 5. Monroe Freeling goes 6. It's all the same names. Caleb Downs goes 7. Jordan Tyson, the Arizona State wide receiver, goes 8 to New Orleans. Ruben Bain 9. Mansour Delane 10. Mekhi Lemon, USC receiver 11. David Bailey making it to 12. I don't think it'll happen. I'm done calling things impossible in the NFL draft. I don't think it'll happen. But if it did, that's your dream. That is exactly what I'm looking for the Cowboys. I want a stand-up pass rusher that the offensive tackle might be down his leg a little bit when he's lined up across from that guy going, oh man, this guy's way more athletic than me. He's super fast and he might spin. What the hell am I going to do with this guy? I don't think it happens, but seeing it from a reputable website and none of the names got picked in the top 11 are dumb or anything. There's your dream come true. Let's get David Bailey. Let's get our guns up. Let's get after quarterbacks. I don't see it happening, but sign me up.
Yeah, I would like that as well. If you can get a pass rusher of David Bailey's playing ability at that pick, I would love that. And then anything you want at 20 feels good to me. If you get that at 12, at 20, you can go any way that you want because you got a premier player, at that position that might have not fallen to you any otherwise with David Bailey.
What does North Carolina play? I mean, we're almost done. It's March Madness is here. What time do y'all play?
I think we got the night game. I forget, like 6 something.
So y'all playing today?
What seed are y'all? Y'all got a good seed?
6. Got VCU. Tough matchup.
6 is
VCU.
A good seed.
Yeah,
VCU nobody sees you coming.
They go 9 deep. Fast pace. Hopefully we can.
What's
hopefully we
Texas?
can, a
We're
play-in.
11.
Play-in.
No, we wanted to play.
They wanted to play.
We're 11 seed. We're 11 seed.
Never forget when Abilene Christian knocked Texas out of the tournament, baby. Remember, you know what anyone's going through. Be cool to everybody. We love you. Be easy.
Eliminate the contingencies. Happy birthday to.
We all silly.